So you're crying about $70 games, huh? Well, let's take a look at what $59.99 will get you, right? Nowadays, here's a game, Elden Ring. That's a $60 game, $59.99, whatever you want to call it. What do you get? You get a disc, not much else, and you get this piece of plastic. Right? What did you get back in the day? Was it a better value? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Here's the game that was supposed to be $59.99 upon release. But let me tell you something. It was never $59.99, at least in the first year. Not in LA. It was getting scalped, not only by scalpers, but by the actual retailers. Yeah, sure, the suggested retail price might have been $59.99, but you can buy this in stores for less than $72 and higher. This was selling for $100, and that's on top of you having the system. Everybody wanted this game. As a matter of fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it became the best-selling third-party game on the console, and it really did make the console. For those of you that remember, the Super NES came out, and it was cool, but it wasn't all that. What really put it over the top was Street Fighter 2. It really did. Once they had Street Fighter 2, once they secured that license, everybody and their mother wanted a Super Nintendo. And they wanted this game. This game specifically is what everybody wanted, right? But you saw what you got with this. You get a disc and plastic, right? And a piece of paper on it. Now this is made out of cardboard, but I would say that the artwork is much better. Look at that. Look at that. And what do you get inside? Right? Let me do something that I usually don't do with this box because it really truly is one of my favorites. Whenever I think of the Super Nintendo, I think of this game, not because I owned it. I didn't. When it first came out, I just couldn't afford it, not at those prices anyway. You get your cartridge. Look at that. I got this one clean. Very nice. And of course, there came a little insert, and I got my manual. That's right. No manual now, right? There's Mr. Ryu. Look at him. Yeah. Front page, you got Honda. Oh man, those were the days. Is there an advantage to having these? Well, sometimes, if there's no internet, for example, if your internet goes down, you don't have to worry about being connected to the internet like in some of these machines, right? You don't have to worry that you're playing on the Game Pass or anything like that. Look what a beautiful box this is. It truly is one of my favorite guys. Let me say, there's so many advantages to having physical media, especially in times of emergency, right? But there's also things that you're missing. I can't play that Street Fighter version with my friends across the country or my family members or anything like that. Not something I could do, right? So there are advantages to today's games. But why do I say that in today's market we really do have the best gaming market ever? Because you can buy things like this, right? You can get this for less than $30. There's no manuals or anything. Let me make sure the codes are hidden. Right? But you get multiple versions, a 30-year anniversary, and you can get this for less than $30. And you have access to the older games. Look at the back of the box here. You have access to the older games, so you can enjoy those too. You can have the best of both worlds. Now, these games are still going to command the same price that they were back in the day. The Street Fighter 2, you're still going to find it, in pristine condition for $59.99 or more. And that is what the market has for you right now. Right? But $59.99 was a lot more back then, right? It's more like, I don't know, like 84, $85 in today's dollars. So we're still paying less for video games than we did back in the day. And something like Elden Ring, just the amount of content that you have on this type of game, as opposed to some of the games from before, it's not even comparable. You're talking about you can get over 60 hours of content on some of these games, something we couldn't do usually, not always, but usually on older games that we're paying premium prices for. That is why today's market is so much better. You have access to these games, you have access to cheaper games, you have access to retro games. It's a lot better market. But the companies, in order to survive, like I said before, they're going to have to charge accordingly, especially with everything going up. We just got another report today that inflation is still going higher in some key areas, food, you know, gas, stuff like that, the essentials. When the essentials are higher, unfortunately, inflation is going to go up, right? But you can go out there and get a deal. You can buy whatever games you want. You have the ability to do that. Maybe not at the prices you want. I mean, if you want something like this, of course, in the retro game market, it's going to cost you, depending how pristine of a condition you want it in. But if you really want it, you just buy the cartridge. You could get it for a lot cheaper, right? But for me, guys, these are the games that I value. I value my Street Fighter 2. I value my NBA Jam from the Super NES. I value my Mortal Kombat 2. Specifically, those three games are the ones that come to mind when I think about the Super Nintendo. When I think about just coming home from work and relaxing, like those are the games that will stick in my mind, especially when I had like 14-hour shifts. All I wanted to do was come home, take a shower, eat, play as much as I could, and usually it'd be less than half an hour, guys, because I would be exhausted. You could just imagine doing a 14-hour shift and coming home. I wanted to play, of course, but I just couldn't hang. And I go to sleep usually right away. But man, the memories. But let me tell you, the market conditions weren't any better than there are today. They weren't. Imagine paying $100 for a game that was supposed to be 60, and even still, you had to look for. Even if you had the $100 when this game first came out, it was hard to find anybody that would want to depart with it, because the only people departing with those were scalpers and, of course, the stores that knew you wanted the game, and they really could charge anything they wanted to. I mean, it was insane. The prices of games were unrealistic back then, guys. When somebody wanted something, it wasn't like today. You have like 50 choices of where to go. But back then, you didn't. There was less choice, and therefore the prices were higher. So we do live in the best time for video games. $70 are coming. Yeah, $70 games are coming for sure. There's nothing to stop that. But that doesn't mean it's not a better market than when it used to be. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I'm never going to forget this game, man. This is one of my standards. This, Mortal Kombat 2, NBA Jam. That's the Super Nintendo for me. That's what I remember. Guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you want to, join the Cornhole Club or 10X with Gen X and get those free games. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
New videos every week. Make sure you don't miss out and subscribe.